Ivy Creative Labs is a clean tech company based in Gainesville, Florida, and the creators of the Ivy Clean System, a novel device which can both quickly and conveniently disinfect and deodorize items which cannot be cleaned by traditional washer and dryer. The Ivy Clean System is effective on items such as shoes, workout and athletic gear, pet beds, children's toys, fabrics, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We'll hear more about that as the presentation begins. Justin Zhou is the co-founder, Chief Operating Officer, and Chief Science Officer of Ivy Creative Labs. He has 10 years experience in the technology industry, especially in energy-efficient electrode design. He received his BS and MS in material science from the University of Florida and is finishing his PhD from the same department. Before joining Ivy Creative Labs, Mr. Zhou was Director of Cell Design and Optimization at G4 Synergetics, specializing in high-powered battery electrodes. Please join me in welcoming Justin.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that lovely intro, Lee. Thank you, everyone, for making it out today. Can everybody see this okay and hear me okay? There's a little bit of feedback. Okay. So we are a company, we came up with the idea around May of last year, and then we became a company January of this year. Now, I'll give you a little bit of an introduction of our product and our science, talk a little bit about our management team, give you a history and background of plasma, what is the underlying science that we implement, and we'll talk a little bit about the actual device itself, what the applications are, what the markets that are key to our expansion, and then we're going to talk about what's on the market currently, because this science has been around for over 100 years. So there are other devices on the market that's been around for 50, 60 years, but nothing like what we have right now. And then we'll give you an update on what our current status is and what our timeline and milestones are for the next 12 months. So Lee already covered it, that we are a clean tech company based in Gainesville. We developed this product. It takes 15 minutes. You put anything that you can't wash, you put shoes in there, you put your pet bed in there, and it takes away completely all odor, all smell, and it also disinfects and kills bacteria and viruses. So it prevents staph infections. If you have any kids, you don't want them, excuse me?
Yes, if you can put the kids in there.
You cannot put the kids in there. In case kids or little puppies want to crawl around in there, we do have a safety mechanism in there that will not turn on if any kids get in there. We thought about this. Me growing up, being curious, I definitely know when I used to climb into the washing machine and stuff. So our technology is completely dry, it's self-contained, and it's a one-button push and start, stop and go. You set it and forget it. You can put it on top of your washing machine, so while you're doing your laundry, you put anything else that you can't wash in there. It's faster, more convenient, and more energy efficient than any other product on the market, and it costs about 1/10 of a penny to run per cycle, which takes about 15 minutes. Household appliances are a $17 billion industry every year. Can you see okay? Are a $17 billion industry. Washing appliances is about a $3.9 billion industry. I'm not saying that we are going to replace that, not at all. We're not going to be able to replace washers and dryers, but it will complement it, like when microwaves first came onto the industry and complemented conventional ovens. You know, you want to make microwave popcorn, you want to defrost something, but you're not going to cook a Thanksgiving turkey in a microwave. I've tried before, it's not great. And the professional laundry industry is about an $11 billion industry out there. So the need for quick and fast and disinfecting and cleaning items is a huge demand for that. Now, our management team is 5 key people. Our CEO, who's also been here before, some of you might have met him, Trey, couldn't be here today. He is kind of the business aspect of it. He runs, owns and started up his own chain of about 4 outpatient physical therapy clinics in Ocala. He worked in the physical therapy and medical fields for about 15, 20 years. He did physical therapy here at UF, then finished up at FIU, started a few different businesses. So when we got the idea together, we said, hey, we need someone with real business experience. You know, we all had some business experience, but we need someone that can actually run the books and deal with the regulations, especially since we're going to be going after FDA and EPA approval. So we needed someone with some medical industry history as well and experience. Myself, Lee already gave you my introduction. Our CTO, Julius, who's also a GAIN member, he's been here before. He was actually the one that came up with the idea, just out of necessity. His wife had some $500 boots that were sitting in the garage for about God knows how long, probably since they moved into the new house, so about 5 years. They were moldy. She wanted to throw them out, but Julius is a very resourceful person. Ordered some parts off Amazon, built a prototype, made it work, grabbed me, brought me over, and we improved upon it and said, hey, he said, I think we're onto something. I did a little bit of market research, polled a few people, and it pulled through the roof. So I said, hey, let's make this a real product. We did some research. There's nothing out there. And this is something we would actually use ourselves every day, because I don't know how many pairs of shoes I've actually had to throw away that I could have not thrown away. Ken, who's our chief engineering officer, he's actually finishing up our Rev 5 prototype right now as we speak. He used to work with us at G4 as well in our R&D department. He's basically just a genius at building anything hands-on. So he's just in charge of development of the R&D and making a prototype, taking it from inception to actually getting it to a prototype that we can show in the lab. And he actually built a glove box when we were working before in the battery industry. Bought a $500 glove box that was defunct, took him about 2 weeks. He made it working as well as a $30,000 glove box. So that's how smart he is. And our chief strategy officer, Miles, who just finished.
Excuse me, what's a glove box?
A glove box is a device for lithium-ion batteries. It keeps everything completely dry, so there's no moisture in there, which could cause a lithium runaway and a lithium fire. So when you're building lithium-ion batteries, which is why it's very hard, you have to do it in a completely dry room and a completely dry environment. And Miles, who's our chief strategy officer, he's in charge of a lot of our IP. He just finished law school a couple months ago, took his bar, waiting to hear back. We know he passed, but he's been having really bad anxiety for the past couple months. So that's the five of us. We started it. We have a combined, we've probably worked together multiple years. We know we work together well. Me and the CTO, Julius, we actually both did undergrad here together, had every single class together, and we worked together for about 6 years at the company before this. Now let's get to a little background of plasma. So plasma technology is the underlying technology that we use in our device. And what is the plasma? Everybody knows what liquids and gases and solids are. Plasma is the fourth fundamental element, state of matter. Can be created by heating a gas or putting a very large electromagnetic field on it. And it decreases and increases electrons, creating ions, which are very reactive. And you see the plasma phase right here. You have a lot of free electrons moving. Now, this is what we implement to create the plasma-generated molecules that actually makes our device so effective. And plasma has been used since the 1850s for sterilizing and medical devices, medical treatment. People use it. They aerate plasma for skin creams. They use it for water treatment, either food processing, either wastewater treatment, or people just clean their pool water at their house with it as well. Sterilizing medical equipment, this is a big field that we're going to go after. Bacteria pathogen treatment, that's one of the biggest issues in the world right now, especially with the Ebola scare, everything. You know, you don't know where your kids are going to be every day at school. You don't know who else, what other family, their kids come in and bring something at home. And especially for medical workers, nurses and doctors, there's only so much you can do, but you're exposed to a lot of nasty bacteria and viruses on a daily basis. And smoke and odor removal. I love hibachi. I'll go to Yamato and eat hibachi and I'll go to a barbecue, but if you're cooking at a barbecue, you gotta throw your clothes away. There's no way to get that smoke out. You can try to wash it, but it'll still be there. So this will actually completely remove any kind of smoke, smell out of your clothes. You don't have to worry about wearing a plastic tarp when you're cooking at the grill anymore. So we'll go over what are our key items in the problems. Biggest problem, smelly shoes. These are items that you cannot clean. Your comforters at home, your pillows, and your couch cushions. You go to someone's house, you see the same couch cushion that was there 5 years ago. You know, I don't want to touch that thing. I mean, I saw that thing when I was in college. I slept on that thing 5 years ago. I don't want to sleep on it again. So these are things that if you put in a washer, they get destroyed. Especially, you know, a goose down comforter, it's a couple $100. You can't wash it. You know, a lot of people, you put a duvet on it, but still, if you get dust mites and allergens in there, it's not gonna get rid of it. So our system actually disinfects, removes odors, and it kills all the bacteria in there. Now for household items like this, one of the biggest concerns is probably odor. Now you have dogs, you have friends and family that come over, and your house just reeks of wet dog, and there's really no way to get rid of it, especially couch cushions. And a dog bed goes anywhere from about $60 to $100, and they start smelling again after 3-4 weeks at best. Can't just keep buying new pet beds. You know, everybody loves their dogs a lot, but you wouldn't keep buying even your kids new beds if they smell. So we need something a lot more economical. With our device, you can throw a pet bed in there, 15 minutes, it comes out good as new. Now, it does not remove stains because it's a dry process, but it does remove all the odor, it does kill all the allergens, kills dust mites, and it kills a lot of the other nasty stuff that your pet could drag in from the house, from the backyard.
Will it kill fleas?
It will kill fleas.
Will it kill bed bugs?
It will kill bed bugs. Other expensive items, I don't know how many people ride motorcycles, but I'm sure your helmets get really funky, really bad, especially in the summer, and they're very expensive, there's no way around it. And people that wear helmets for sports like football or fencing, those things get pretty nasty. And they're very expensive. You can only kind of wipe it away and air it out. That's only gonna do so much. If you put it in our device, it'll actually get to every single nook and cranny, and it'll actually clean it at the molecular level. Leather jackets, purses, shoes, boots, those things are very expensive. There's no way to wash them.
Do you know what kind of shoes those are?
Those are Louboutins.
Oh, yeah.
I do know. And if you want to send out, I called several places to actually be able to clean these shoes and clean specialty items. Now, I'm not saying a lot of purses, they don't get moldy. I'm not saying you ladies don't take care of your stuff like that, but there are certain times that you can't help it. You have a bottle of water or you spilled a soda in there or something, it does get nasty. And you have a bag that's $200, sometimes they're up to $1,000.
There's some research that shows the bottom of a woman's purse
Is the dirtiest?
the dirtiest item in the house.
Oh, wow.
Dirtier than the bathroom floor.
Well,
Thanks for lunchtime talk.
Anything I could ask.
so, well, that's one more application we can use. Thank you for that. And if you send it out to a specialty cleaner, it'll cost anywhere from $35 for a regular pair of men's dress shoes to a purse or for boots or a leather jacket. It costs up to $100. You have to mail it out to them. It takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get back. Another key market are athletes, and there's I think about 60% of Americans play sports at one time or another. There's that new case of staph infection that happened to a football player. Everybody has staph. It's just a bacteria that you cover, that you carry, but there's still, you will still want to avoid it, especially if you have any kind of other immune deficiency condition. Pads, lacrosse pads, hockey pads, shin guards, soccer cleats, anything that a mom will want their kid to be safe. I want my kids to play sports, but in the locker rooms when I was growing up playing sports, it is disgusting. It is moldy. It is just really bad. And if I had this technology when I was growing up to clean my pads, I would have been so happy, because you will leave practice just really smelling bad, and then you go into the game and you can't really concentrate because your pads smell so bad. And there's you can't get new pads every week. And at the other side of it, it does prevent, it kills all the bacteria and viruses and prevents a lot of different diseases. Bed bugs, dust mites, bacterial infection. I'm sorry for putting that picture up while you're eating. I waited while most people were done. But staph infection, MRSA-causing microbes, those are big concerns, especially in a day like this. We're in the 21st century, but seems the better we get at sanitation and sterilizing, there's just more and more diseases out there that get through. And another big problem, allergens. There's allergens all around your house that you don't even know are there. People may have allergy problems, just only blame it on pollen, but there's other things just that are in your house that cause your allergies, like tobacco smoke, that you may carry in from work if you contacted someone that smokes. New paint, drapes, mold spores, dust mites, etc. Now, I'm not saying this will destroy all of that, but this will definitely alleviate some of the symptoms if you can find the key items that's causing it. Especially in the summer, if you're outside in Florida, there's a lot of pollen on your clothes. You'll be able to kill all the allergens in there, and it'll alleviate some of your symptoms. Now, how does it work? So you have a problematic bacteria. I'll use the bacteria molecule for an example. It works almost the same way for viruses, but it's actually easier to kill viruses than bacteria with plasmids. All right. So you have a bacteria cell right here, and then you put an item in. It has bacteria on there, on the surface. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to fold it. You don't have to do anything before. You just throw it as is. Doesn't have to be conditioned in any way before. You hit a button, starts the plasma, and then plasma generates molecules. These molecules actually embed themselves because they're so highly reactive. It actually embeds themselves into the cell wall of the bacteria. And then it actually reacts with the cell wall of the bacteria, and it's called an oxidative burst. And then once it breaks down the cell wall of the bacteria just breaks apart. So that's called cell lysing, and then it just destroys the bacteria.
Molecules of what?
Are
Or are they
ions.
free electrons? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
The free electrons will react with this and breaks down the cell wall. These are other things that there's a long list of items that's been proven in the medical society that this chemistry, this technology does kill. And there's limits to what you need for the minimum. It's usually about 0.1 milligrams per liter or 0.2 milligrams per liter, and usually for like 10 seconds. And that kills a lot, and we are way above that threshold. Staph and MRSA, norovirus, this is something that actually kills 200,000 people a year. I never heard of it till I Googled it, and it actually causes stomach problems with a lot of people. E. coli, strep, salmonella, those are well known. This is Pseudomonas aeruginosa, I think. This is actually something that lives in warm areas. It affects humans, it affects animals, and actually causes a lot of deaths every year too. That's a new one that I never heard of either. And Hep A and influenza, those are still big problems. It's hard to believe that 21st century influenza is still a big problem, but it is. So this is what our device looks like. This is our first rev. After the first year, I'll show you, we are going to have different revs for different markets. But the first year, we're going to release just one that works with almost everything, and then we'll get feedback from each sub-market. Basically, it opens up. There's an LCD screen here. It controls it. You can control it by itself, or you can have Bluetooth. It hooks up to your phone. It'll tell you when something's done. There's 3 easy buttons on there: low, medium, high, just like 2-minute popcorn, or low cycle, medium cycle, high cycle. Set it, forget it. You have something. Yep.
Why wouldn't you always use high?
Because it's just not necessary. If you have something that you just wore one day or something, you just want to clean it, it's not necessary. Because we do calculate out the amount of plasma, amount of molecules that we need to clean something. You can.
I would always use high.
You can. It's overkill.
Is there advantage, disadvantage to power output or usage, or what's
The power output will be higher because the high will be about 3 times as higher power, and it may take a little bit longer than the 15 minutes. We're still in the lab right now testing exactly how long that should take and how many cycles we'll have to run to do the high. And there may be some wear and tear on items. It's definitely not it's actually 10 times more effective in disinfecting than chlorine, and is nowhere near as damaging as just liquid detergents and washing and drying. But there will be, I'm not gonna say, we've run tests in the lab for a couple thousand cycles, we have not seen any breakdown, but so we have to still do some more tests in a third-party lab. But as of right now, we don't want to claim it's not going to do any damage, because in the sciences, in the journals, sometimes it said it does do some damage, a little bit of wear and tear. We have not seen that yet, but we want to be safe.
So would it break down fabric like silk?
It will not break down silk. The only thing that it could break down is polymers and plastics.
So if I have a plastic foam inside my motorcycle helmet,
It could. I don't want to say it won't, but as of right now, we have not seen anything yet, but we still have to do some more tests. And we're talking about, to see that damage, we're talking about thousands of cycles. So, and the average person is probably going to use this thing once or twice a week.
Do the products have to be dry when you put them in there?
That's something we still are testing. We've tested dry and wet, and they both work right now, but we don't have any quantitative data. We're still working on the quantitative data to the effectiveness, but that's a great point. We definitely have tested something. I actually did a lot of work to test this because I came straight from the gym and threw a sweaty shirt in there. Came straight from the gym to the office, and it worked. But we still had to run some GC analysis to actually measure how much odor particles were there before and how much are there afterwards.
What's the physical dimensions?
It is 11 by 16 by 22. So it's around the size of a carry-on suitcase. So that was a good size. That we did some polling about what items people would love. We did a web survey of about 300 people. What are the key items that you want? We polled everyone from 15 years old to one of our friends' little cousins, all the way to someone that's 55 and a mother of 4. What kind of items, like curtains, other items. So then we came to a conclusion, we can make 5 different devices for each market. That's going to be impossible for us to focus in on. So let's just make one that'll do most of these items, and let's see how it goes. Let's see market feedback. We'll do some more focus groups afterwards, bring back some customers and get their feedback, and then we'll make specialized items. Like when Apple first came out with the iPod, they came out with just the iPod Classic. After that, it came out the Shuffle, the Nano, other iPod models.
Could you say what does that mean exactly? Is there an inbuilt meter to test if all the bacteria or the viruses killed? How do you know it works?
We are doing lab testing right now. There's third-party testing in measuring the bacteria and the viruses before and after. Before and after, yes. And then
I have to do that, but if I just bought this device, I wouldn't know if it's by itself.
what we will do is we are going to know everything. Well, we can't know everything, but a lot of the most common viruses and items out there, we will do before and after tests and quantify the threshold, and we're going to make it well above that threshold. So basically, it'll kill almost everything that you can throw at it.
many of the items you've mentioned are soft or, maybe even plastic helmets and so forth. What about electronics? There's a big problem with things like iPads in hospital environments because there's no good way to...
Right, like cell phones. This technology has been a similar technology with like UV light has been used to clean cell phones and clean all the bacteria.
But that's just a surface.
That's just a surface, yeah. I mean, this is penetrative to porous materials. It's not going to penetrate your laptop or your cell phone to inside the circuit board.
And does it cause any damage to electronic devices? Because it's ionized electron.
We would not recommend putting electronics in there because it does oxidize. And if it does penetrate into the circuit board somehow, it oxidizes. And
Or just the power cord? Or...
We do not recommend putting electronics in there, though. That's what we'll say.
You mentioned that the plasma technology has been around and has been used for a significant amount of time. And you also talk about your particular process being patented. What is the aspect of the technology that is novel to Ivy?
I will get to that. I'm going to get to that. Go ahead.
I'm struck by the case looks like it's made out of metal or chrome plated.
Yes.
It seems like an extremely difficult design to have reverse draft on that case. Is there any reason why you went to such an extreme design, or am I imagining that?
You know your stuff. There is a very difficult time with a negative draft. We've worked with several machine shops on it. This was actually my design. I did get help about it. We came up with a lot of different simpler designs. I thought it looked cool.
The machine?
No, the casing, the shape of the casing.
Is it a machine case or is it a deep draw? How do you do it?
It is a deep draw. But afterwards we're going to make a mold and we'll do it that way. Yep. But the design is up in the air. It could change because some investors have given us feedback that didn't really like it. But I still stand by it.
See, but it sure looks like it could be expensive tooling.
That's a trade-off right there.
You spoke about an active molecule. What is your active molecule for the actions that you want taken on the material?
It's reactive ozone.
It's ozone?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I'll answer your question of what makes ours actually different. Our patented technology makes it a completely closed system. So there's no ions that go out. It just takes it from ambient and it completely destroys it inside. So and it has a locking mechanism. You can't open it while it's running, and it does have a half-life. So if there's a power outage, there's a backup that it will not open until there's a counter inside. There is a battery backup with a counter inside of the active molecules until it dissipates to below a certain threshold ppm. It will not open. But within 15 minutes, when it's running, we have a process where it actually destroys everything.
You were talking about the couch you slept on 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And also you had a picture there of some smoke when it was sterile. That wouldn't work on either one.
What is that?
Unless you make a really big one.
I got you. Yes, it would. We would. The couch one for couch cushions that can get removed, it'll work. You can put it in there. For the big couches that are just all in one, that will have to wait till year 2 where we have a larger design as an in-service model where it will actually come out to your house and clean everything. It will actually clean your mattresses to your bed. We have technicians that come out to us. But year 1, we can't do that. Did you have a question earlier? No. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So 82% of all American households has a washer. And each washer uses about 25 to 45 gallons of water, depending if you have a top load, front load, older model, or energy efficient model. And it uses about 50,000 to almost 100,000 gallons of water for average of 4 loads. I don't know about you, I live by myself, I run about 6 loads a week. And a washer from cold to hot uses about 30 cents to about 90 cents per load. Now, again, we're not trying to replace the washer. We can't replace the washer because there's just really no replacement to a hot, warm, clean shirt. If you have stains on it, you get a ketchup stain on it. Last time I was here, I got a stain on my shirt. I'm not very careful either.
Well, your device doesn't do mechanical.
It does not do mechanical cleaning. Like I said, it will not replace the washer and dryer, but it will complement it. So a good fit will be, we have a model where a lot of the LG or the Samsung washer, they have a tray on the bottom that pulls out. One model will fit into that tray, and you can slide out while you're doing your laundry. You can throw whatever items you want to clean that you can't wash in there at the same time. So just to sum up, 15 minutes or less for a clean cycle, safe to use on items, silk, leather, etc. that you can't wash, kills organisms that can cause disease, including MRSA. It's convenient for in-house, and I'll get to that, what is different between us and existing technologies right there. There's existing technology and competitors out there. A lot of them are industrial size. This is one of the first times it'll bring this convenience and level of cleanliness to the average consumer available at home. And our target market price, our retail price for the first year is $300 a unit. We did a lot of polls on there. Some people say they will pay up to $500. Some people say they'll only pay $100. We stopped calling those people back. And but we did poll a lot of people, and we think based on just the average earning, $300 is something that I would pay for this.
What's your cost to manufacture?
I can't reveal that.
And what's the lifetime of this product?
We will offer a 1-year warranty, and we're still doing extensive cycle testing right now to see what the mean time to failure is. And we have been running one model for 10,000 cycles, so we've left it running for about 4 months, and it's still running. So that will exceed way more than what the average person is going to use this for. The person, and I'll get to that in a second too, the person that's going to use this probably the most is the nurse and doctor that comes home and use it themselves, because they have to clean their scrubs and shoes on a daily basis. Parents, homes, young moms, they'll clean it, use it once or twice a week. And it's a nominal cost, like I said, on the low setting, or maybe in the medium setting, it'll cost 1/10 of a penny to run. Yep.
You say that the sale price for the 11 by 16 by 22 is $300.
That's correct.
Have you guys thought about going in, obviously I'm sure you have, partnering up with the hospitals and having
We
these
have.
on site for nurses and doctors to use before they get in their car?
We have. The reason why and I'll show you in a second too, why that's a secondary market, we decided because we've done a lot of work on the consumer market at first, so we thought that's a good way to get the word out. For hospitals, we do have a little bit of work for us to get that FDA claim, and we can't really get into a hospital without an FDA or an EPA claim. Having said that, we have talked to several VCs that specialize in the healthcare industry, and they are very interested in this. Had a little bit of work. One of our key competitors in hospitals would be just replaceable, just disposables. Their hospitals and the healthcare industry are moving more and more to disposables, scalpels, scrubs, shoe covers, linens. So we have to find out what the cost of that is versus how often they will be using ours. And that's kind of a headache. So it's something we're not going to get into the first year. So this is basically all of our key markets that we're going to go after the first year and 2 years. Pet owners are huge. New moms at 15 million, those are huge. And then consumer athletics. Anybody that plays sports with a pad, that's about 50 million people. First round, new moms, 15 million mothers, babies aged 0 to 3. You have a new mom, you have a new kid, you will do anything you can, you'll pay anything you can to make sure your baby is safe. And then we'll also target just any housewife or mother that wants to take care of their family, the kids that play sports and everything.
So it's like a big part of that is like there's no good efficient way to clean strollers and car seats and the bigger things.
They're not, and I'll get to that in a second too. And you have babies that throw up in your car seat and everything. You just wipe it down. And a car seat is like $200. You love a baby, but you can't buy them a new car seat every time. Secondary market focus will be outdoors. I did not know outdoors generated so much revenue. Campers, RV owners, and hunters. Campers, we don't know how big the campers are going to be, even though there's 45 million people go camping. Not a lot of people in that market make a lot of money. RV owners do make a lot of money, and they go on trips, and there's not very easy access to a laundry machine. You want to wear a shirt again, throw it in there, it's easy. And then hunters, there's a completely different aspect for hunters, and I'll get to that as well. Hunters, I did not know that 13 million hunters spent $32 billion in hunting. You heard that right. So on average, each hunter spent over $2,500, like about $2,500 on hunting. That is unreal. And then medical consumers, there's 2.7 million plus nurses, and then almost 900,000 doctors in here. Some surgeons are okay. Surgeons, they get their laundry done at the hospitals, but general practitioners, they do not get their laundry done. They have to do their own laundry, especially doctors' offices as well. There's about 230 physicians' offices. And I've talked to actually a few of my doctors, And they can't wait to get one to beta test for us, to be able to have their employees throw their scrubs in there and then sanitize things. And then a secondary healthcare market, once we get the word out with doctors and nurses, I think it'll be a lot easier to actually break into the healthcare market, get into the doctor's offices, get into the hospitals. Again, there's that price point that we have to compete against with disposables. Go ahead.
I would say also that you would find probably good application with the military. Whenever I was in the military, I went 3 months in Iraq without the ability to wash clothes.
That'd be, yeah, wow, I did not.
And body armor that you put on.
The body armor is disgusting, and it's the most difficult thing to clean in the world.
And you get blood and everything.
Yep.
Wow, yeah.
And,
Did not think about that, that's great.
Whenever we did get something that could wash our clothes, they literally brought on the base something the size of a semi-truck, and they all put it, it's like one big
load?
machine. So it wasn't really that clean altogether, so.
Maybe worse.
Big market, I would say, for you.
Okay, thank you.
But all your hardware, all the gear that you carry.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, did not think about that.
Approach DOD for a grant.
You're good.
And charge them 100 times, what you charge?
1,000 times more. Absolutely. Oh man, I gotta go write another grant. I thought I was done with that. So the baby market, $4.7 billion for new baby equipment. Just 10% of that is in toys. Those are toys your baby puts in their mouth, your dog chews, they throw it around on the floor in the bathroom, they dunk it in the toilet. You don't know what they're doing, you just wipe it off. And you don't want your baby to chew on something that you wipe off with bleach. So that's a huge market. And then, like you said, mobile carriers, that's almost half.
Like childcare centers.
Childcare centers, almost half of what parents spend on their babies are mobile carriers, those strollers, your car seats that they throw up on, at best. A target demo for our shoe market, there's 2.4 billion pairs of shoes sold every year, and there's really no good way to clean your sneakers right now except throwing it in the washing machine, but it destroys it. But people are still doing it, unless you just wear it till you can't wear it anymore, or you just wear it anyways and everyone in the office hates you. And so you throw your shoes in there, it'll deodorize everything. Go ahead.
You keep saying clean, you mean decontaminate, right?
That's correct, yes. I'm sorry, decontaminate, it does not remove the stains or anything. Pet owners, there's actually more cats than dogs in this country. I did not know that. There's 95 million cats in 42 million households, and that was scary. But there's a lot of dogs. Pet stores are a $17.5 billion industry, and 29% of that is in pet supplies. A big portion of that is in pet beds, blankets, toys for your pets. I love my dog, but he smells really, really bad. Yeah. You cannot put your dog in there. It won't start. It won't start with your dog in there. And it kills fleas, ticks, mites, anything else tracked in from the house. Consumer athletics, there's a lot of text. I won't go over all of that, but there are 60+ million Americans that play sports. In 2013, 64% of all 6 to 12-year-olds participated in a sport. So that market is very, very large, especially with what wholesale teams, when we will eventually want to get into an institutional deal with a sports team or like UF with a football team, they spend a ton of money on equipment, and to just take one more step and protect their players and make sure they're not out with an infection, they don't get sick, they stay healthy. I think this is a very lucrative opportunity. And then hiking, we already covered this for camping. One of the biggest concerns is smoke. I go on a camping trip, I have to throw my shirt away when I'm around this campfire. And then hunting, $33.26 billion. Actually, I think this year is about 37 billion. And hunters is a different application. They want to get rid of all the human smells on it. And so what they do is they'll pour like deer urine on the doe urine on it. It's pretty bad. So, and afterwards, I don't know, I would throw it away, but I guess they don't.
What they do is they have underwear that seals against their skin.
Okay.
We wear underwear that seals everything against our skin, and then our outerwear we preserve. We want no laundry detergents or UV brighteners.
Okay. So, well, this will have an effect on that. Any kind of clothing you have, it'll kill any kind of human scents. It'll actually kill pheromones that's on your clothes. And doctors, one of the biggest issues for doctors and nurses is they can't do laundry at the hospital. They bring it home. Nurses, they bring home, they have 3 kids at home. They're a nurse. They get someone's germs on their clothes. They bring it home, do their laundry in the same washing machine that they're washing their kids' clothes in. That's not ideal. What they could do with our system, leave it outside. I have a few doctors that are friends. They strip down everything when they get in the garage, and they do not bring it into their house. So what they can do is leave a device outside or leave the device in the garage, come in that way, strip down, decontaminate everything first, and then wash it, which adds another step of safety. So nurses is a huge market. And dentists are huge too. Dentists already use some of this technology in decontaminating their equipment. I'm not going to go through all these numbers, but if you see, this is our initial sales distribution channels. For the first year, initially, we want to launch by 2016. We're going to just sell it directly from our website, do some online marketing, get the word out that way, and then we'll start talking with big box stores, and those negotiations could take up to a year. So, but we do want to hit pet stores, PetSmart and Petco first, maybe even have them just have 1 or 2 units in the store as a demo to get word of mouth out there, and then eventually get into other big box stores and online retailers. We are contacting HSN and QVC. We felt like this may be something they can put on the weekend or something. We're not going to get to market by Christmas this year. Also, that is the most expensive time possible. But if we do get into QVC or HSN January, February, that's the lowest cost for advertising and online airtime. So that could be an opportunity for us there. Subsequent channels, hospitals, nursing homes, physicians' offices. And one added benefit that we do have is scent cartridges. Some people don't just want a natural smell, they want to help go to sleep with a pillow, so you can put chamomile, lavender, other scents in there, put it in there, just hit a button, last minute, it'll spray a mist on there. And that's something that could be reordered from our control app, so that's a recurring revenue model right there. This is some of the items that are out on the market that utilizes some of the technology. One is just industrial size, $15,000. Another is industrial size, $8,000 to $15,000. Another one where the Detroit Red Wings actually use to clean their equipment. Could not get a price, actually cannot get a hold of them anymore, but they're also huge. I do not imagine them being any cheaper than those. These are 2 for a much more affordable price. This is one that actually sprays the molecules around you for hunting. It'll actually cover all the scent around you. But again, it's actually in open air, and ours is a completely contained system. This is another one that you can run in your house. Fire departments use this, home refurbishers use this, and then this is actually a technology that car dealerships and rental cars use to air out any cars. But again, it's running in open air.
Sometimes use it for when people smoke in rooms they're not supposed to.
Yeah, they use that, yeah. They'll just keep it running for about 5-6 hours. But again, ours is 15 minutes and it's completely closed and it's safe to use in your house. So to date, we have over $30,000 in orders, and we do need an influx of capital. We're right now in the process of raising capital, about $3 million to get us to market. So our phase 1 milestone for the rest of Q4 is to refine our prototype and launch our marketing campaign. We do have a couple of different marketing strategies. I'm flying to New York and meet with a couple more PR firms, try to get them in a bidding war. They're astronomical prices. And then we want to secure a contract with a CM, hire sales teams, early 2016, begin sales. And then Q4, so Christmas time next year, around October, we'll launch a national ad campaign to really get the word out and then try to sell as much as we can. And one other aspect that we will do is we will have a charity outreach program, because there are a lot of people around the world that just don't have access to clean water. And we will try to, depends how much money we make, but we do want to donate a significant amount to be able to help people. And we will send solar panels with rechargeable batteries that they can use to plug this in clean their items, so it prevents disease. And that's it. You know, take any more questions. Thank you for your time.
How did you get the name?
I and V is power, and we were a clean tech company that create power devices. So we did that, and then we added the Y because we were clean tech and we wanted to do something green. So we had like the IV leaf. That's kind of how we get the name. Yeah, exactly. Amps and volts.
Could that unit that you have there actually be a suitcase?
It can. And that is one of the other models we have. Maybe in year 2, year 3, we can actually fit it directly into a bag, directly into a suitcase. Maybe do a licensing deal with Samsonite or Tumi or something. You pack it in, put your clothes in there, hit a button, cleans everything. Or people that ice skate, you put it in there in the suitcase, hit a button, it cleans everything by itself, and you carry it with you. Dr. Jackson?
Is it the technology is Zhou? Is that what?
That's correct, yeah. Yes.
You need to have a size that'll take a pacifier. Because after the first child, we all know that the way they sterilize pacifiers is to wipe them on your shirt.
It's true, it's good.
That's how you build up your immune system.
We're looking at equity financing right now. We're looking at both. We're looking at angels and VC. We have a couple meetings set up. We've already met with a couple of VCs. We have a couple meetings with angels coming up in September, and we do have another few VC meetings in October up in New York because we have a lot of connections back in the company we worked for before that was funded out of New York. We're in pretty good terms with those guys. But we are taking as many meetings as we can because you never know who you're going to meet. And we will be competing in the game shootout. Maybe. Hopefully.
Just say you are
Excuse me?
confident you're going to.
Thank you. I thought we were in already, but I didn't know.
Applications come in until September the 15th.
But you know me.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of people, Justin.
Any other questions? Yeah.
I just thought it would be good if you mentioned somewhere that there's no residue, which is something you kind of get to. With
I mentioned, you're right. I should make a bigger deal of it.
When I've looked at cleansing technologies before, having no residue was a big value to consumers.
By the way, there's no residue.
Just something you can add that might help.
You showed the one company sells this for hunters. Can I presume that means it's safe to breathe the plasma?
No, we don't want to make that claim. We are making a product that's completely self-contained, is completely dry, and is energy efficient. So our customers will never be in touch with that plasma themselves. I don't know what the other companies are claiming.
The EPA regulates interior ozone.
Yeah.
So after you turn it off, the plasma collapses and then you open it up?
That's correct.
I think it might help your presentation if you add a slide about why they regulate interior ozone and how your product overcomes that because it's contained.
It's a secret.
The EPA regulates.
Well, I mean, you don't have to say how you got to this, how it's contained, but you can say that the containment.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you.
Is there a reason that you don't have one here to show today?
We only have one Rev 5 that's in the lab right now that we're fine-tuning. We're actually updating some code for the LCD screen, so it wasn't ready to actually bring in today.
Is that because of the cost of making it?
That's correct. But if someone wants to see it privately, an investor wants to see it, we're more than happy to show it.
I can attest, I've seen it, it exists.
Have you put your shoes in yet?
Her shoes don't smell. I have put my shoes in there.
About circulating, how does it, as far as circulating the ozone or?
Inside? That's actually part of the patent. I can't discuss that. But we can discuss that afterwards.
So today, have you already done seed financing?
We are looking for seed financing. So far, up to this point, we've just bootstrapped it and put in everything for ourselves.
You mentioned testing. Is it necessary for you to employ outside testing?
Yes, we are in the process right now actually to run bacterial and virus tests with a third party. We are working with regulatory agents to ensure that our device actually, they will put a bacterial strain in our device, test it, and then see what it looks like afterwards. So rather than hiring someone and run that ourselves, we'd rather just pay someone with standards already out there.
And the other question is, are there government agencies that you're going to have to deal with in order to market this product and develop it further?
We're not sure. It can't hurt, but it will take some money and time to get those claims. We're not sure how much of those claims will affect us for consumer sales, because it will actually produce the results of decontaminating, and as long as we have some third-party testing that we can prove, I think it will be enough. But for us to break into the healthcare market, we absolutely do need those claims.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
It plugs in. It's a one. Yes, just plug it into your wall. 110.
You'll need ETL, UL, and all that other stuff.
We do. Yes, that's something else we do need.